Good morning, dear student and dear friends. Today we are discussing greenhouse effect. This is TY Zoology class semester 1, paper 4, environmental biology. In this today's we have topic 3.1 from our university syllabus, a greenhouse effect outcome of air pollution, ecological effect of air pollution, and then the part is the greenhouse effect. Now here in this photograph you are looking at a greenhouse constructed for raising the plants and seedlings. The entire house cover made up of a glass, and sunlight can directly reach through this glass on the plants inside, and plants are produced through photosynthesis. They are growing and they are producing carbon dioxide. Because of accumulation of this carbon dioxide, here they are consuming the carbon dioxides and releasing the oxygen. But because of this carbon dioxide here inside, the temperature goes on rising, and the same name has been given to this greenhouse effect, where there is an increased warming of Earth caused by the rise in CO2 content of the air. So what is greenhouse gases? Which are the gases responsible for raising the temperature of Earth? CO2 is released into the air by the combustion of fuel, and it is estimated that carbon dioxide content of the air is increasing at the rate of 0.4% per annum, and the means of emission of carbon dioxides are very different. Even our breathing release carbon dioxide, vehicles exhaust release carbon dioxides, then the ruminants, cows and other ruminant animals, they also release carbon dioxide during their digestion process, and lot of industries are involved in releasing carbon dioxides. All these emission of carbon dioxide results in appreciable warming up of the earth. This is called as a greenhouse effect. It is likely that this will cause the melting of polar ice cap, resulting in rise of nearly 60 feet of the sea level. The consequences of increased earth temperature will impact on quick melting of ice cap on the earth, and that will release water into the sea, and the sea water level will rise. Another greenhouse gas is a methane, which is produced from the cows and other animals and decomposing garbage. Is this a greenhouse effect good or bad? So what are the effect of a greenhouse effect on earth? Without the greenhouse effect, the earth would be cold as Mars. So no doubt that optimum warm temperature on earth is maintained because of this greenhouse effect and the CO2, but this raising concentration of CO2, which I just already told, that is around 0.4% per annum, we are increasing the carbon dioxide. That is problematic. But too much greenhouse gas can heat up the earth very fast. That rises the sea, that melt the polar ice cap, and that cause unpredictable storms. So how this greenhouse effect works, here in this diagram photograph, uh, we can understand how exactly this greenhouse effect works. Okay, so from the sun, the solar radiation passes through the clear atmosphere and reach to the surface of Earth. This most radiations is absorbed by the Earth's surface and warms it. That all stones and soil and the seawater get heat up because of these solar radiations. Then this same heat up content on the earth release that heat in the atmosphere. So some solar radiation is reflected back by the earth and the comes into the atmosphere. Now here these infrared radiations is emitted from the earth's surface when it get heated. Some of the infrared radiation passes through the atmosphere and some is absorbed and re-emitted in all directions by greenhouse gas molecule. The effect of this is to warm the Earth's surface and the lower atmosphere. Okay, so not all the time in a morning time this sun pass that radiation on the suns and that surface get heat up, and some of the solar radiation get reflected from like ice or from the surface of water. That sun rays get reflected and enter into the atmosphere and the atmospheric gases get heat up. But also some infrared radiations are also emitted when the earth get heat up. That heat get entered back into the atmosphere where that CO2 is there, and CO2 get heat up and that CO2 then release that temperature again on the earth. So what are the contents of today's presentations is the atmosphere. We'll see what exactly is atmosphere. We'll discuss some key terms. We'll see the greenhouse gas effect, that gases involved in greenhouse effect, then the causes, how that greenhouse effect occurs and what are the effects of that. Okay, so here in again this diagram we have seen different CFC gases, then deforestations, burning of wood, burning of fossil fuels, then radiation absorbed by greenhouse gases, and the greenhouse gases and the fossil fuels release cause increased carbon dioxides, and that heat is then absorbed into these atmospheres and some of the heat get escaped through the atmosphere. And these solar rays also get reflected through this atmosphere because of that ozone layer. So what is atmosphere? If this is we are learning from the school time, so this Mount Everest pose area in the sky is a troposphere. If we start seeing that atmosphere zone from the soil, from the ground level, so first layer is a troposphere. Thereafter there is a stratosphere where there is a all weather balloons and all release into the zone that is around 50 kilometer above the ground. Thereafter 80 kilometer around 85 kilometer there is a mesosphere where we see all those meteors and everything burning. Thereafter there is a thermosphere where all that our shuttles and satellites roam in that. It is around 690 kilometer high, 100 kilometers uh, zone. It is around 100 kilometer zones. And above to this is a exosphere which is situated around 10,000 kilometer above. So the largest zone in the different atmospheric zone is this thermosphere. Okay, I will just revise, go back. So this thermosphere is the largest zone in the atmosphere, which is responsible for all that heat generations and heat maintenance on earth, warmness. Okay, so troposphere is also called as this. Here the lowest portion of Earth's atmosphere is a troposphere. Around 75% of the entire atmosphere mass is in a at this troposphere. It involves water vapors and that aerosols, everything get accumulated into this zone, troposphere, around from Earth surface from 0 kilometer to 10 kilometer, and the depth of this zone is 10 kilometer. They are warmer nearest Earth. These are the hot area or nearest to the Earth, and it is a colder the further you go. Now from here, as you go above, you will find that temperature drop downs. This Thereafter comes the stratosphere. This is the second layers of Earth's atmosphere. This is situated above this 10 kilometer to 15 kilometer height. You will find a layer that is called a stratosphere, and the depth of the stratosphere is 40 kilometer. This is a colder nearest the Earth's surface. It is cold towards the troposphere, and warmer the further into the atmosphere, and the opposite side of stratosphere is quite warmer, but towards the troposphere it is cold. Energy is transferred via heat absorption by ozone layer. So, and we already learned in a effect of ozone layer depletion that all the ozone layer is situated on the um, outer side of this stratosphere layer. Outermost region of stratosphere, there is a ozone layer, and that ozone layer is responsible for the absorption of heat energy coming from the sun. Heating caused by the conductions from above and convection from the below. So heating caused by conduction from the above, all that heat rays coming from the suns and the ozone layer get heat up. Through that the temperature of stratosphere increases, that is heat up, and so we find it is more warmer at the outside level, whereas from the troposphere, through the convections, through the air zones convections, you will find it is a colder. Thereafter come the mesosphere. This is a middle layer of Earth's atmosphere. Exactly at the middle of all these uh, five zones, this mesosphere is the middle one. At the range between 15 kilometer above the height of Earth up to 90 kilometers. So its depth of this is again 40 kilometer mesosphere. They are warmer closer to the Earth's surface. So towards stratosphere they are warm, and colder the further you out you go, and outer side towards the space they are cold. Here that the reason might be because of a ozone layer is there in a stratosphere, so that portion get heat up, and through the conduction that heat pass into the inner surface of this mesosphere towards the earth, and it is colder to outside zone. So this is where meteors burns as they collides with the gas particle. Most poorly understood part of the atmosphere. Much study is going on in the zone of this mesosphere. Thereafter comes the thermosphere. Now here is the fourth layers of Earth's atmosphere. If we can start counting it from this troposphere, this is the fourth layer of atmosphere. Its height ranges from above the 80 kilometers from the surface of Earth up to the 500 kilometer. So the depth is highest, around 420 kilometer depth. You will see it's of a thermosphere. These are colder near Earth's surface. So towards the mesosphere they are cold and warmer as you go further into the thermosphere, and it get heat up as you go to the towards the space away from the earth. It is a warmer. This layer absorbs radiations which in turns electrically charged particle. This layer absorbs radiation, so all that solar radiation get absorbed into these thermospheres, and the particles present in thermosphere get electrically charged. Thereafter comes the exosphere. Here the outermost layer of atmosphere. We start around 500 kilometer to 10,000 kilometer depth. This is again the largest uh, layer of atmosphere, around 9,500 kilometer zone. Only layers of atmosphere where gases can escape. Now here this is very much less density of gases are present in this zone, so gases get released and escape through this exosphere into the space. So main gases found here are the hydrogen, helium and carbon dioxide. These three gas you will find in this area, which constantly being escaped into the space. So here you can see how these different zones are related with the uh, temperature concern. So this troposphere, the nearest zone, when it goes to the stratosphere, it is colder. Then stratosphere when goes towards the mesosphere, it get warmer. Again this mesosphere when goes to the thermosphere, it is colder. Thermosphere when goes towards the exosphere, it is warmer. So at the two levels that our environment get warm up. Some terms will frequently come in discussion with us for this greenhouse gas effect is a condensation. Now, what exactly is condensation? When there is a process by which gas or vapor changes into a liquid or solid state. The condensation, that means the popular example is that water vapor get condensed and converted into the rain, or the water get condensed and converted into the ice. That is what is the condensation. Evaporations, when the water get evaporated and converted into the water vapors. That is what is the evaporation, so process by which the liquid changes into the gas conditions. Then convections, when the by contact, that when heat transfer from one object to another, that is the convection. Upward movement of heat or other atmospheric properties within the atmosphere. So one hot stone, if you kept in contact with another stone, the heat get transferred from one object to another object. That is what is the convection. And same thing happens with the different zones of atmosphere. One zone get heat up and that heat is transferred into the another adjacent zone. That is the relation of the convection here. Then photosynthesis, the synthesis of complex organic material from the carbon dioxide, water and inorganic salt using light as an energy source. This is related with the plant thing. Here the production of food from the plant using the solar energy and presence of carbon dioxide and water. That is what is the photosynthesis. Radiations, when the energy is transmitted in the form of rays. Energy that could be heat energy. Uh, we feel warmness when we bring our hands near to the flame. So we feel that warmness near to the flame. That is the energy present in that flame, heat energy present in that flame get transmitted in the form of rays to our hand. That is what is the radiations. Then conductions means spontaneous transfer of energy through matters from a region of high temperature to the region of low temperature. This we may have experienced not lot many times. Conductions, we use ice cube to cool our juice or sherbet. So that is how the temperature uh, of hotter juice get transferred to the ice, and ice start melting, and that is what is the conduction, spontaneous transfer of energy with temperature gradient.